Okay, we are back now outside and it's dark and cold because I'm lazy and procrastinated, and hopefully this mic is working. Anyway, we've got the knife here. It's probably silhouetted terribly so you can't see it, and we're gonna start profile grinding it. And got an 80 grit, fairly sharp but not sharp belt, so we're gonna start hogging with this. And I really regret waiting this long. I've got lights set up here so I can see because it's dark, and so it's probably a terrible angle for you, but we're gonna get over it. And I'm gonna turn my music back on. We're gonna get to grinding a knife. We got profiled. I drowned in Sharpie. And now I'm gonna pick something fairly coarse, work on thinning it down, make it nice and even and or distal tapered, roughing in the bevels real nice, getting these filing marks out to try to keep it from having cold shuts and cracks and all that jazz. So we're gonna get into that now, and future Joseph is gonna have fun speeding this up and editing it, so here we go. Alright, gotta make this quick because the battery is dying and I'm about done for the night, but here we have our knife, nice and profiled and thin, and we are at the heel. That is just under 3/16. Then we have a more or less distal taper. A couple of sticky spots, but we'll worry about that. So that was a lot of grinding, but this is a knife. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to heat up the blade fairly evenly and uniformly to just above magnetic temperature, which I believe is like 2100 degrees Fahrenheit. And what this will allow is for the carbon to migrate evenly through the blade. It also will allow for all of the stresses built up through forging to be relieved. So, it is now the day after Christmas. It's been, I don't know how long since I've been working on this, a couple of days. We have it heat treated Friday night. It's now Friday a week later. We had a couple of warps and pings, or not pings, but warps and divots. So we marked it out using Sharpie, because I'm broke. So we're going to grind out the warp, get our bevels established, and hopefully wrap this thing up today. So of course I wasn't filming it, but I was a dumb, you can fill in. It's got a bit of a warp to it, so I was trying to bend it by sticking it, you can't see that, by sticking it to the hole here, and I was flexing it, and I snapped off the tip. The good news, hopefully you can see that, it's a very tight grain structure, which is very, very good. So I'll try to get that clear, but that might be the best I can get. But it's a very good grain structure. You'll just have to trust me on that. So, got the new design drawn on. Let's try to grind that in. Just went with the file off camera. Got the shoulders cleaned up and crisp. Oh yeah. Scraps that are 1/4 inch thick. Alright, here we go again. Now then, it's a fairly small hole. Yep. And my arrow's on the other side. Whoops. It fits, mostly. It's square enough. So now we're going to start the long and tedious process of getting the fit up. Cut to the time lapse. There's just a bit of gap, but I think it'll be good. I might heat this up and shove this on. That's like a burn-in tang. Okay, so there's a bit of a gap and I don't like that. No gap this way, but a bit of a gap this way. So we're going to try the fit up again. We'll use this one or another one. We're going to try this again. Hit. So, I have not been filming because there's been a lot of back and forth. Stats update. We got fit up with like 1% gap. Like there's the faintest of gaps that should hide with epoxy and or an heirloom fit. This is only my... We're going to talk about how many attempts. So now we're going to cut it out and go on from there. Also, spacer and... Why isn't this on autofocus? There we go. Spacer and front piece almost glued together to make my life easier. Smart tip for anyone out there. Alright, I'm gonna check back in a few minutes. Okay, it is very cold. Oh, pretty cold. It's the next day. I have today to finish this knife. And so I've got to get this shaped. And so we got a 120 grip fresh belt. And we're just gonna roughen the shape. Right on side. Alright, so this is the spacer front part piece. That's the epitone, stainless steel. Chop that and ground it. And we're just gonna grind this side. And I didn't film it because, to be honest, it was the best military strategy. I had no idea what I was doing. So it is the last day of this competition and I'm cutting it down to the wire. And I'm gonna play music over this because Dad's working on a thing in the background. So this part's gonna have music over it. But it's like 10:30 and maybe above freezing. Glories of South Carolina weather. Anyway, we're gonna get this handle shaped now and hopefully this frame will work for y'all. Just try like this. Is that gonna work? Yeah. So after conversing, I'm going to go ahead and grind the full profile in, and then that'll make it much easier. Okay, I'm going to go cut this off with a saw. Be right back. Alright, and we back. Got it zipped off. Now, Mr. Knife, you better get nice and polished, because you're going to be viewed by literally dozens of people. Literally dozens are going to see you. That is 800.
Hot diggity dang dog. Absolutely gorgeous.